Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andressa.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Liz.
And this is Andressa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, Minnesota edition. And we're going to be talking about when is it the right time, or how to even evaluate whether you should get into a new real estate niche. And there's a lot happening right now. A lot of people are struggling to get deals done for a lot of different reasons, especially financing. So it's really a big time for people to kind of explore, if you will, or keep with what they're doing. And it's troubling a lot of women in our investing circles here. So it's a big topic, and I wanted to talk about it today to really give you some tools and some ways of thinking about whether you're just chasing a shiny object or you're actually really pivoting to something that makes sense.
I like that. I think that many times that distinction is where you need to spend time. Am I thinking strategic right now and pivoting based on what I'm seeing, or this is a shiny object? And I think that many times the shiny object comes as the primary thing, and it might not. It might be a good thing that you should be thinking about it. So I love that you're giving specific tools.
Let's get into a few first steps. Especially when the economy is shifting, and there's a lot of question marks, and people are struggling to get the financing in place for a lot of deals. And there's a lot of opportunities. So that's kind of the context of what's happening. The most important thing I would say when you're presented with which road to take, right? Stay on the course or shift. You have to go back to your goals. You have to go back to even more importantly, your long-term goals. Where do you want to be in 5 years is an important question to revisit so that you're pointing your direction in the right way and you're doing the work to get you there. And too often we try to just solve something in front of us versus that long-term vision. So that's the number one. And in that, determining how active or passive you want to be today and where do you want to be in the future also will help you, determine that long-term goal. So the second question I have, Andressa, then is, why do you really want to pivot? Ask yourself that.
Are you saying, do I want to pivot or do I need to pivot?
Why do you want to pivot? Why are you feeling an inclination to pivot? Right? So just getting clear sometimes, before you do something, why do you want to do it? It could be that you're bored. It could be that there's economic challenges happening with your particular geographic market or your particular asset class, like multifamily or something else. So there's constraints that we have to be mindful of. But sometimes it has to do with us and our own personalities, our own interests, especially if you've been investing for a long time. You might be bored, right? So it might just literally, but I think the honesty and the transparency of the why behind even considering this is really important. And I don't think enough people give themselves space to even ask that question. They make it more about just what's in front of them versus really getting honest with themselves. So that would be, and then if you don't get a very good answer to that, ask yourself, is that really why you want to pivot? Just keep asking yourself till you get to the real reason for yourself. And I think that's critical. The third thing is then to really, I always say, researching and brainstorming with like-minded people in your community. We have a lot of community building in the real estate investor, between our meetups, between our Facebook community. And so what you really want to do is say, okay, with these like-minded people, you want to talk about, with this particular new choice you're going to make, would that serve your goals and align to the market and the economy? I think that's the big piece. We can be very curious about a new niche, but it may not be the right niche in the right market in today's economy. And not enough people even consider that. It has to make economic sense, right? There has to be something in that gives you some clarity, some movement. Alignment is important. You can't just flip houses because you want to flip houses in a market that, quite honestly, it is going down in value. That's just not going to work. So the alignment with the economy and the market is critical. Anything to add there, Andressa? Any thoughts that are popping up for you?
I think that the worst thing that people can face is when you really need to pivot, right? And then you are really forced to do something abruptly, not thinking about your skill set or what's going on. I'll give an example. Let's say you need to pivot because the local rules for short-term rental changed, right? So you really need to immediately change and not that's not allowed anymore. But I think that that's the time that you can say, okay, what are the options that I have? Can I sell this house? Do I want to sell this house? And then go back to all the things that you were saying about the alignment, about
Yeah.
what's going on in the market, and you go on and on. But I think that what we are requesting here is for people to stop and think and really put pen to paper and analyze where they are instead of, oh, everybody's flipping houses, so let me flip house. Everybody's doing short-term rental, so let me just do short-term rental,
Yeah.
right? And go in with like, okay, plan A, this is what it is. Plan B, okay, they changed the rules, great. I already planned it work. Yeah, the numbers also work for long-term rental or mid-term rental, right? So let me get the support that I need over here. That's what we are requesting right now. Either if you want or if you need to change, like take a moment to sit down and put that on paper and share those thoughts in our Facebook community too.
Yeah.
We are your board members, and say, this is what's happening, this is what I'm thinking. Are you guys seeing something different?
Yeah.
So you're not going by yourself.
Correct.
That's the goal.
Which is the key. So the next piece of the puzzle is really then deciding on that new niche. And then finding other people who are in that niche that you can learn from. I don't know everything about every niche, but if I'm going to move into something new, buying a business or whatever goals I have, I'm going to talk to people who've done that before. And I think that we don't do that enough, and we try to figure it out ourselves, and we make mistakes that could have been avoided. And the last piece to this puzzle is then once you kind of go, you say, okay, this is the right, I'm going to either stay put or I'm going in this new direction. You have to get clear on the who and the how. And, depending on who you are, I'm going to think more on the who I'm going to talk to, who I'm going to enroll, who I'm going to connect with, because I'm more relationship driven. I don't always think about the how first. I don't think about that. I might think about it second or third, or I need people around me to help me think, well, did you think of that? Or did you think about that? No, I didn't consider that. I didn't even think about that. I don't have that as much of a strength, but the who is definitely a strength of mine. So depending on who you are, do you go towards the who or the how would be something to be mindful of, making sure you do both. And depending on your own personality, your own strengths, and then you're able to kind of pivot and shift in a powerful way. I was literally just talking about this, Andressa. Why I'm bringing this up too is I was just talking about this on our EXP mastermind. We have an EXP org where these are women real estate agents who are committed to also growing their wealth. We're doing a mastermind, and we were just talking about 2 out of the 3 women were considering other niches. And as we were talking, they said, you know what? After this conversation, I'm sticking to what I know and really focusing on it. Especially, I'll leave you all with this, especially in today's economy, and especially with just a lot of uncertainty with different things shifting, and especially when financing becomes a little tougher. Not that there's not money, but when financing becomes tougher, and it is for many projects in some ways, you really need to go all in on what you do know and say, how do I mitigate risk? And the known is of value. Going into known markets, known asset classes, known people. That's a value in this market. And so lean into that. And after the conversation, both of these women who are considering other niches said, nope, I'm focusing on what I know. And I need to find maybe some other outlets for my boredom or my creativity. And so it was a useful conversation. So in summary, reconnect with your 5-year goals. Ask yourself, why do you really want to pivot? Like, get honest with yourself. Having that coming to Jesus meeting with yourself. Do some research, brainstorm with like-minded people, which niche might serve your goals and the current economy. Critical. Can't just be serving your goals. Decide on that new niche, connect with people who are in that niche, and decide on your who and your how. And along the way, how do you mitigate risk? Keep asking yourself that question if you do make a change. How do I mitigate risk? So that's what I got for everyone this week.
Thanks so much for listening. Share what are your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, what are your challenges? And we're here to support you. See you soon. you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.